My mic was muted. I was saying shalom, shalom, man. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered around the four corners of the earth. First and foremost, before we start the lesson, fix my light. First and foremost, before we start the lesson, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the name of His only begotten Son, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and end. And also shout out to the sister Mary of Bethany that anointed our King with the precious ointment before his burial. And also shout out to our ancestors that came before us, that chose death before dishonor. Yeah, man. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, I pray everybody doing well on this Sabbath day. The Lord commanded us to keep the Sabbath day holy. It's a day of rest. It's a day of getting into your word, having a clear mind, and, just giving your body some time, man. You working 6 days throughout the week. The Most High God said the seventh day is a day of rest. It's to honor me because the Most High God, He rested on the seventh day when He created everything. So He commanded us to do the same, man. You will come to realize the Sabbath day benefits us, man, because you need a day of rest. Our bodies wasn't made to be working every single day. So we need a day of rest, and the Most High gave us that, which is today, man. So I pray everybody doing well. But today's lesson we're going to touch on is witchcraft, black magic, and voodoo, etc., man, because I guess this is supposed to be part of black culture now. I'm starting to see people say, we're coming back to our heritage. We come back to the stuff that our ancestors used to do. So we're gonna speak on that, man, because and I actually seen a video. I'm gonna play like 3 videos. They're not long, but one of the videos I seen on Instagram inspired me to make this video. So yeah. So I'm gonna get the blowing of the shofar first, and we're gonna hop into this lesson. Shouldn't be a long one, man. Got the brother Denal on the screen, and the other brother should be coming in very shortly.
Come.
Shit is real quick. All praise to the Most High. Before I get the videos, King, can you read this scripture first before I even get into the lesson?
This is Numbers 23 and 23. Mm-hmm. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought?
So I wanted to touch on this part right here, right? Because these things are very much real. Voodoo, witchcraft, black magic. I know some people may think these things are fairy tales or they're not real, but these things are very, very much real, right? You have people that have spell books that they can literally cast spells on people. I don't play videos. People do things behind the scenes that we don't even know about, especially in the higher up, like these elites. They definitely be doing all type of magic and stuff like that. America was founded on witchcraft. It's glorified. Look at this look at this real quick. I just seen this is Disney Channel. This is Disney Channel. This is for kids. And it's this movie. I think it's a movie. It's called Descendants. It says Wicked Wonderland. And the trailer was playing when I had got on the screen, and it was a lady with some cars finna do some witchcraft. She had some, I think there was red cars. So this is glorified. Being a witch in the world is glorified. Even when you get into sports, I think I said this before, right? the sports teams that they name after, or the names that they give these sports teams can go back to witchcraft. You got the Orlando Magic, the Washington Wizards. You see what I'm saying? These names, even in sports, they glorify witchcraft, sorcery. I remember when I was watching, you know, when you young, you watching these shows like Twitches, the movie with T and Tamara. I used to be like, dang, bro, I wish I could do that, man. They just make it look so cool, but not knowing that goes against what they know that, right? They know that because their job is to push darkness and wickedness in the world. But we don't know that goes against God, right? It goes against God, and they know that. This is why they make movies like this in the kids' face, because a lot of times the parents don't be paying attention. They just turn on Disney Channel, turn on Cartoon Network, turn on Nickelodeon, and go to work or go back and go to sleep. And the kids watching this witchcraft stuff, and they putting it in their face, man. I mean, when I was younger, on Disney Channel, it'd be the actor, and they have a wand in their hand. They'd be like, I'm so and so, and you watching Disney Channel, and they'll draw the little Mickey Mouse ears with the wand, and they'd be dun 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 dun, and they'd be like, bro, that's witchcraft. He got a wand in his hand, and she got a wand in her hand, and they drawing it like a witch, drawing the Mickey Mouse ears like a witch, man. So this world is based off witchcraft, man. And I pulled this scripture to show that these things are real. People have certain power on the left-hand side to do these things, but right, if you're from Jacob, right, Israelite, and you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, these enchantments can't come upon you when you truly. I'm not talking about you just call yourself an Israelite or you just call yourself a Christian and you go to church on Sunday, but outside the church, you being wicked. Outside the church, you ain't getting into the word. You ain't fasting. You ain't praying. You're not serious. Like, you're not serious about this book we call the Holy Bible. You ain't serious. You just going to church and hearing sermons, and that's it. No, like, this don't apply to you. You have to be really serious in your word. Like, you have to be really girded up in your word for these enchantments not to bother you, man. You have to have the spirit of the Most High God dwelling inside you for these enchantments to not bother you, man. So we're gonna touch on it, man, because you can't be lukewarm. You can't be half-stepping and expect, you to be protected. Because Paul even said in Ephesians 6, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, right? And higher ups, man. And roughly paraphrase. Let me grab that first. Before I get into the video, let me grab that. I know Ephesians. This is 6. KJV. Can you get Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 11 through 12?
Ephesians chapter 6, starting at verse 11, it says, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Mm-hmm. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Right. So this is it's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle. You have demons. You have all these type of things going on, man. It's a war. So if you know it's a war and you know that you have people can cast spells and have certain power that they can do, it should be you should make it your mission to get right with the Lord. So these things can't come upon you, man. These spells can't come upon you. I got a quick story I'm gonna tell after the videos, man, that we actually witnessed at camp. But I'm gonna play this video real quick. I think this the short one.
I want you.
Fair use. Now the lady in the blue, she's a witch. She either is a witch or was a witch.
To listen to what this witch said on this podcast.
I heard you say on Tasha K's platform, I heard you say that there's certain people that you can't necessarily put a hex on or curse.
Very small amount of people. Most people can be hexed.
Who are the people that cannot be hexed?
The people that are living in their truth, and they're actually connected to God in whatever way that is. consistently, constantly, and walking in that. Most people are not doing that. They're not doing that.
That's interesting.
This is very interesting right here.
Now, what she really meant was she can't do any root work or cast any spells, hexes on people who are truly walking with Jesus Christ. But of course, the demons inside of her did not want to mention Jesus Christ. She said people who are following their truth or whatever, however that looks. No, it's Jesus Christ. But I want this to be a warning for all people who are living a lukewarm lifestyle, because there are witches out there that will cast spells on you and place hex on you if you are not fully equipped with the armor of God. Because we can't just be a hearer of the word, but we have to be a doer of the word as well. So I hope that you don't take this lightly, and just remember that there's always a witch ready to cast some type of spell on you or do something to you, and you also have to be ready as well. Let me know what you think on this matter, and be sure to follow and subscribe.
And you gotta think, a lot of these witches that be doing these things, that's their job. Like, you know how you have a job that you work, throughout the week, 9 to 5 or whatever. You're making your money, you're going in, you're clocking in, clocking out. A lot of these witches, this is their job, to cast spells on people. So she basically saying the same thing I'm saying. Like, this is a wake-up call to don't be lukewarm. And the witch, she was telling you that it's certain people that she can't do a hex on. Those are the people that's following the Most High. Basically, she didn't want to come out, like the sister said, she want to come out and say it. But we know that the people that's keeping the commandments of God, right? That's walking in the faith, you can't be touched with these things. But you can't be lukewarm either. Like, you can't serve God sometimes, and then the next day you really don't want to serve him. You can't be saying you're serving the Most High God, but you're not reading his word or living by his word. You're a target to witches, and you don't know who a witch is.
Yeah.
You can go in. A lot of times these witches in public, they look like regular people. You wouldn't even know that this person a witch. And a lot of them be doctors, lawyers, firefighters, teachers, principals. All right, you don't know who these witches are. So that's why it's good to make sure that you got yourself girded up spiritually. So if you are beside a witch and they trying to cast a spell on you, it won't work, right? Because you have the blood, right, of Christ around you, man, on you. You have that spirit on you, man. Be protected, right, by the holy angels, man. So let me get this next.
Add too.
Go ahead.
A lot of what she was saying too, what a lot of people fail to realize is hypocrisy and consistency, right? So witches attack hypocrisy because that leaves a door open for them to wiggle into your life. When they're seeing that you're claiming something but you're living a different lifestyle, they're like, man, in the spiritual realm, this person is wide open, right? It's tossed to and fro, right? You literally leaving a window of opportunity for them, right? And that's what consistency does in the truth. That's what diligence does in the truth. So when you actually doing it, because all witches, when you think about witches and warlocks and all this, they operate off of routine. They also operate off of rituals, right? Doing things over and over and over again. That doing stuff over and over again, that's what brings a certain level of power to that thing, right? We always talk about the numbers of completion and stuff, right? Like 3 times or 7 times, right? There's a reason why they walked around the walls of Jericho a certain number of times as well, right? Because when you do things over and over and over and you're consistent with it, the more you do it, the stronger you become in that thing. Same thing with witches. The more they practice a spell, the stronger that spell is, right? But it's the same thing on the left hand. This left hand side is the right hand side. So when you come to serve the Lord, you can't be lukewarm, right? Because the moment you fall off is the moment you make yourself susceptible to evil spirits, right? When he says there's no enchantment against Jacob, there's no enchantment against those, right, that are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments faithfully, right? That is the kryptonite. That is the cheat code. When you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right, not only for people to see, but even in your personal life, that's what's going to rid demons away from you, right? You know what I'm saying? If you don't do that, you leave a door wide open. And that's the number one telltale sign to see if somebody's really living this thing or not, because you can look at their life, right? If it looks like demons are attacking them 24/7, they probably not living this thing like they claim to be, right? Because
That's a very good point, man. It's a very good point. And this is why it's so easy for a lot of witches in today's time to just cast spells on people, because people ain't really doing, they're not really serving the Most High God. So it's easy for a witch to cast a spell. And that's why they feel like they got so much power. That's why they feel like they're unstoppable, because they casting spells so easily on people, because people that's claiming to be followers of Christ aren't really followers of Christ. So and it's crazy because the spirits that you think, I'm gonna play the video. It actually was another brother that was an ex-Satanist. He actually gave his life to Christ, though, all praises. But he speaks on the stuff he used to do, and certain things that people going through, like bipolar disease and stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff people wouldn't think are spirits and demons. They think, well, this is something I was born with, and it's something that I can't get rid of. A lot of times, you don't know a witch cast that on you. But we're gonna get to it.
God, man, if I just could add again too,
Go ahead.
you know, when you doing certain things, man, it's literally ritualistic. Like you, and that's why the Most High is so keen on vows, right? Because if you pay a vow, you gotta own up to it, right? If you say, I'm gonna get on live 3 times a week, right, for the Lord, right, and you don't do that, you leave a door open and you're susceptible for demons to come in, right? Because you're inconsistent with something that's serious, right? Even when you make the vow to, I'm gonna read every day, right? I'm gonna get up every morning. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pray. When you start doing those things over and over, it makes you untouchable, right? The moment you stop doing that from lukewarmness or laziness, right, you leave the door open and you're susceptible for demons to attack you, right?
Con too. Like you said, ritualistic. When you think about birthday parties and all these other holidays that come with so many rituals, you don't understand that those rituals are spiritual gateways, man, for the enemy or for spiritual entities to ruin your life, right? You put it on a witch's hat, having a food offering called a cake, with a fire sacrifice and a smoke offering, when you blow out the candles and you making a wish, which is a form of a prayer to who knows who, right? Something simple as a birthday party is a whole seance, right?
That's true. That's very true.
And that's a lot, because our people, man, even when it comes to these secret societies and things of that nature, they think rituals are just for the ambiance and just for like they're playing a play or a show, and it doesn't really count for nothing. It's just a part of it. Nah, man, you got to understand that all these rituals are literally spiritual gateways, man. And that's why you see a lot of Israelites going 10 toes for only keeping the feast days and the holy days in the Bible, because, and you may get annoyed if you follow Israelites or you have Israelites in your life, because they're always telling you the origin of this, the origin of that, the start of this, the start of that. What's it really about? And we're not giving into, well, I just celebrate it because of this. It's just time for me and my family to get together. You got to understand, even these holidays, for example, 4th of July is coming up. Even these holidays are seances and they're rituals of celebration to other gods for destruction of their enemies, right? Our holy days are that for our destruction of our enemies. They do the same thing for theirs. So when you partake in those food offerings, drink offerings, and celebrations, man, you're leaving yourself susceptible to all different type of spirits.
Con, you gotta think too, like you were just saying, you have people during Halloween dressing their kids up as witches, thinking it's cute. Got the little witch hat on with the witch outfit on, and they got a wand in their hand. This is a child. This is a child that you're dressing up for, like a witch. And we've been so brainwashed into thinking, oh, that's so cute. Oh, he got his little wand on with the broomstick. Oh, that's so creative. But not knowing that Most High God is against that, man.
We got so-called born-again believers dressing up as Satan and the devil.
Yeah, I actually seen it, man. Hey, them Halloween parties, bro. When people be throwing them Halloween parties, it be getting crazy, man. People be dressing up like all type of demonic things, but they claim that they born again though. They claim that they love God, but you dressing up as a demon.
Con, man. And you know, the crazy thing is, man, just like what the sister said in the first video, right? It's a very small portion of people that they cannot affect, right? Those that are actually walking this thing out every single day, right? Behind closed doors, all of that. But it's because, man, like that precept says in James, man, even the demons believe, right? You got to understand, these witches, these warlocks, whatever you want to call them, they're portraying themselves to be normal people out in the world, like the brother Obadiah said when he first opened the lesson, right? They're your doctors, your school teachers, your gym coach, right? Your physical trainers. They're in the churches too, right? So when they see you portraying to be something just like them, but deep down inside you doing something else, man, they see you no better than what they are, right? And so it leaves you susceptible to be affected, because it's like, who is this person? They claim to be, you know, a Christian, but they live in life like me, right? Mm-hmm. That means I can attack them, right? But they can't attack people that are truly sold out and walking this walk, right? Where whether people are looking or at them or not, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that's going to anchor you, is consistency and actually being true to who you are, not being a hypocrite. But
Con. And I know I can't remember. I know, you know, you were saying like doctors and stuff like that. A lot of doctors and stuff, they really be into that, you know, witchcraft. I think the word pharmacy goes back to what is it, pharmakia? You know what I'm talking about? I think it's pharmacia, one of them. Pharmakia.
Go back to the word sorcery.
Yeah, it goes back to sorcery. So when you see these pharmacies, the name pharmacy, just know that goes back. It's telling you, it goes back to sorcery, because a lot of these medicines and stuff that they made, they made that with sorcery, man.
So like it too, like if you know what hospitals in the medical field, they do studies and trials on placebos. And we all know what placebos is. We learned it in high school. Placebo effect. It's a fake. And because people think it's the real, they'll act a certain way. You might get a sugar pill and they say, hey, this is going to make you feel better. You thinking it's some type of chemical that's going to help you feel better, but it's really just sugar. And then for some reason you start feeling better. Then they tell you, well, that was really a fake pill. Why? Because of the sorcery of getting you to believe, right? If everybody knows, well, not everybody, but those that are tapped in know that the belief in your mental space, right, is more powerful than the physical. That's why people fast and pray to get physical outcomes, because of belief and because of things they're doing with their mental discipline and their mental their mental belief. So just like that in the medical field, they use sorcery to get you to believe in something. You may not even be sick, but if you have a doctor's visit and they tell you you got this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, now you think you're on your deathbed and now you become sick.
Right. It's the same thing with cancer. You know what I'm saying? You can live your whole life with cancer, be perfectly fine. The moment somebody tells you you got cancer, that's when you start to decline in your health, right? Because your mind is constantly on it and your mind's constantly telling yourself you had cancer. But before you knew you had it, right, your mind was telling you perfectly fine. You was living perfectly fine.
And then also too, if you guys have heard of that Dr. Yaki guy, he talks a lot about the medicinal field and things like that. But he also talks about what he believes is Hebrew culture is abracadabra, which is abracadabra. But he's saying pretty much all that is saying the scripture of there's power in the tongue. I am what I create. And so what he's saying is he said that the term abracadabra and magic can be used on the left hand and the right hand. But what he's saying don't be scared. He's just saying that there's power in the tongue, which like, you know, I came on late, but when I came on, y'all were already talking about how there's stuff that you can say and do that really will affect what happens. So when people cast spells on you and stuff like that, the only reason why it works is because you're ignorant and they believe what they're saying is going to happen. But if you believe in your power and you believe that you can't be touched, then it has no effect on you, because just like for them, whatever they believe and say, it's the same for you, whatever you believe and say, and you got a higher power than what they're operating in. Because
I don't know if you want to, Brother Obadiah, but if you want to play that first video again, man, I think it'd be a good video, because I know the brothers jumped on late. That was a good video.
This right? Yeah, okay, this
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right.
Just to run it back real quick.
Okay, Con.
Subscribe for more. I want you to listen to what this witch said on this podcast.
I heard you say on, I think on Tasha K's platform, I heard you say that there's certain people that you can't necessarily put a hex on or curse.
Very small amount of people. Most people can be hexed.
Who are the people that cannot be hexed?
The people that are living in their truth, they're actually connected to God in whatever way that is, consistently, constantly, and walking in that. Most people are not doing that.
Constantly.
They're not doing that.
That's interesting.
This is very interesting right here.
Now, what she really meant was she can't do any root work or cast any spells, hexes on people who are truly walking with Jesus.
If you can pause it real quick.
The demons inside of her did not.
And what she's saying is very deliberate, right? So because I know the girls is gonna say she doesn't want to mention Jesus Christ, right? The thing with witchcraft is they respect principle, right? So it doesn't even have to be Jesus Christ or Christianity per se, right? Because if you hear what she's saying, she's talking about what if you're consistent with your walk with whatever you believe, because just like we were talking about, there's power in what we believe, right? We talk about how we believe in monolatriism, right? Meaning that there's a lot of gods, but ultimately there's one above all of them, right? That's why you don't really like, for instance, she can't affect somebody that's walking in this truth every single day, right? She probably can't affect a sincere Buddhist either, because they respect principle, consistency, and rituals, right? They're a ritualistic practice, right? And they respect that in other facets of life as well. So, like, for instance, the sincere Buddhists, the sincere people in Islam, stuff like that, right? You won't see a lot of them affected either. Why? Because they're already preoccupied with the rituals that they have going on in their life. They only attacking people that are out here lost, that's not into anything, right? That have nothing going for themselves in a ritualistic or consistent manner, right? Those are the people that they're affecting. And what she's saying is that's the vast majority of everybody, right? We talk about living in Babylon. Babylon is confusion, right? Especially in America, they can affect a lot of people in America, because in America, people don't know what's going on, right? They into this, they into that, they into nothing, right? They can put this down to go do some folly and then come right back. And that's the people she's saying that she can affect. You see what I'm saying?
Con. She said something.
Not want to mention Jesus Christ. You said people who are following their truth or whatever, however that looks. No, it's Jesus Christ. But I want this to be a warning for all people who are living a lukewarm lifestyle, because there are witches out there that will cast spells on you and place hex on you if you are not fully equipped with the armor of God. Because we can't just be a hearer of the word, but we have to be a doer of the word as well. So I hope that you don't take this lightly, and just remember that there's always a witch ready to cast some type of spell on you or do something to you, and you also have to be ready as well.
Con, that's nothing but facts, man. And this is the video I had seen on Instagram yesterday that made me want to make this video, man. I'm looking at it like, I think this is the dad right here, and I had to mute the volume because it was like music playing in the background, and it took the video off, so I had to re-upload it and just mute the volume. But that's the dad. I think the wife recording, And those are the 2 kids. And the title says teaching them so they'll never forget. And I want y'all just to pay attention to what's going on. I'm gonna pull a scripture after the video. And if any brother got something, they can speak during the video because then it ain't gonna be no volume.
They look like weirdos.
Yeah, man.
You saw that weird face on the ground?
You seen the black nails? They love black. Witches love black, like black nails, black clothes.
Yeah, just keeping y'all in mind too. It's people actually doing this in their house, bro.
In their house. That's why
As
you
we
can't go in
speak.
everybody's house.
Yeah, as we speak, bro, they doing this.
You seen that?
Me and Denal used to paint, and we would some of the apartments we would go in, they would have some weird stuff on the floor and in the closets, bro.
You see how it look like they're trying to do something for money, trying to gain money. You see they got a $100 bill right there?
Gave a money offering.
Idols, man.
Gave a money offering. I remember when I was working for Rooms to Go, we was moving into this we were moving these Indians into a house, and they had fake footprints from their door all the way to this idol, bro. We like, what the heck going on? We looking at the floor as we carrying this couch in. We like, what the heck going on? But it ain't just, it's so many different forms of idolatry and witchcraft, bro. And it shows up as religion. Because if you ask these people, this family right here, these kids are gonna grow up thinking it's their religion. They're not gonna think it's witchcraft. They grow up thinking it's religion, and then that's how they justify it.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, this is a way of life. This is what our ancestors were doing before. They love saying that. This is what our ancestors practiced before they gave us the Bible. But you gotta think, just because our ancestors was doing it, some of them don't make it right though. It don't make it right. Just like how you have a lot of our people praying to their ancestors. It's like, what ancestors, like who are you praying to though? Like you saying your ancestors, but what particular person are you praying to? Because not all of our ancestors were good people. So
that's
are
what
you
I'm
praying
saying.
to all of them?
Right. Not all of our ancestors were good. Like just right now, you have good people, you have bad people. So like when you talk about praying to your ancestors, like, bro, you're not gonna get a little bit more specific. Like you just gonna pray to all of them, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man. Instead of praying to the Most High God that created everything on this earth, you're praying to your ancestors that's not even here on the earth no more. That He took off the earth. Don't make sense, man. Throwing salt all. Look at that. So you can't tell me that don't look the money.
Like a ritual, lights bro. Off, man. Looking like they about to play Duck Duck Goose. They got the palms out. And this is also a testament to believers, man. You got people out here that's genuinely doing this stuff, taking it serious, not missing a beat, not missing a step, very meticulous about what they're doing. And then you got people in this truth that claim to be in this truth publicly, but don't pray, don't fast, right? Don't celebrate the feast days. They don't do anything for the truth other than get on social media and say Shabbat Shalom, right? And that's why evil spirits cannot take you serious, because when you got people doing stuff like this, that's got this whole setup, that's taking it serious, that's teaching their kids and their kids, right? And then you got you claiming to serve the Most High God, but you doing hell knows what behind closed doors, bro. They're looking at you as a joke. I don't know if you got this precept in there, but it's the same precept when they say, man, Jesus I know, John I know, who are you, right? Because spirits operate off of what you do spiritually. If you're not doing nothing spiritually, they don't recognize you, bro. It's the same way Christ can say at the end of the day, depart from me, I never knew you. Right? Because what are you doing spiritually? It doesn't matter what comes out your mouth in the public. It matters about how you live your life in a consistent, ritualistic basis on the right hand side, though.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, a lot of people's eyes aren't open until they encounter something that is spiritual themselves. You know what I'm saying? And don't be fooled. You can't trust everybody. You know, there's people that you have friends and they'll be like, man, I can't come tonight, man. I got to go to church. Hey, sometimes when they talk about church, they talking about that video we just saw. they up in their house with their family doing something crazy. Man, nah, I gotta do this. I gotta go pray, man. Me and my family, we do this prayer hour. And you thinking it's something, you know, harmless. Man, these people, man, they know how to be witty with their words too.
I can't lie, I do it too. I'll be playing basketball, be like, come on, Denal, let's run one more game. I can't, man. I got a Bible study I got to get to. Now, I mean, it's technically Bible study, but it's not your traditional Bible study like they think. You know what I'm saying? So even I be doing stuff like that from time to time. So just imagine everybody else that might be doing it on the wicked hand, because that's their church, man. You know what I'm saying? That's their Bible study. You know what I'm saying?
Right. When you look at all these different religions and all these different nations of people, trust me, they doing their own thing in their house, bro. Just because they look Americanized, that don't mean that they not up in them houses doing crazy stuff. Trust me, bro. They doing it. Hey, I see you got 2 more videos lined up. I have found that video of Dr. Yaki talking about having belief in what you say and the placebo. So I could play that.
Yeah, you can play it
right now.
Yeah. How long it is? If you want to pull it up, you can pull it up. When you want to pull it up?
We'll play a little snippet of it.
Hey, and I want to add too. You know, that's why the brothers. You know, it's crazy to me. Like sometimes people get mad when you do go hard for the truth because of how hard people go for other things that are wicked in this world. Like I know that the brother just did a video, you know, talking about how, you know, going hard for the Lord, pretty much going above and beyond. But I got a precept for that too, Sirach 43 and 30. You know, if we can read it at any point during this lesson. So I just wanted to bring that out.
You want to read it right now? I can pull it up real quick.
We can read it. It's on. This is Sirach 43 and 30, and it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. And reading that to say, you know, sometimes you got to remind yourself that you got to go as far as you think you can go when glorifying the name of the Lord, because a lot of these people who do witchcraft and sorcery, they're going above and beyond for the name of their, you know, their magic. And they're doing that with the sole purpose of being deceivers, or because they truly believe in their heart. Some people do it and they don't really know how deceptive it is. Some people do it and they do know how deceptive it is, but they still go hard for it in the same manner. So we got to go harder for the Lord in that regard, because again, there's so many people out here that speaking against the Bible. I don't see why people would be, and not even just speaking against it, doing spells and stuff like we see in these videos. So I don't see why, you know what I'm saying, we should at any wise be ashamed or at any wise feel like we got to dial it back when it comes to, you know, believing in the name of our God, right? And showing that through our actions.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a snippet of this. Our thoughts and comments on this video. Fair use.
Your reality shift and change. And then that's how you realize that we living in the matrix, because what you believe change your biology. It's something called the placebo effect, brother.
He said, what you believe change your biology. It literally can change your biology, your genetic makeup from what you believe. If you believe you're healthy, you can make yourself healthy.
Or you can take a pill and believe in a doctor so much, they'll give you a sugar pill and act like it's a regular pill. And you would take that pill and 7 days later, your physical anatomy and biology would change according to science because you believe.
That's why I've been saying, how much do you think belief affect healing? Like, why do people some people, because some people heal faster than others because they believe they can heal, right?
90%. I said 90, probably more than that, brother. But just to be on the safe side, at least 90%, because the biology of belief. There's a doctor named Dr. Bruce Lipton. It's a book called The Biology of Belief. Y'all need to get that.
Hey, sidebar for a lot of you pregnant women, if you believe you're gonna have a safe pregnancy, you'll have a safe pregnancy. But when you freak out, that's when everything start going haywire, right? So you know what he's saying? Belief has a lot to do with the physical.
And he proved scientifically the Wim Hof breathing mechanism effect. It's another Caucasian man that talks about it too, where he believed and he breathed and he could literally change his rate of immune cells that's produced by his bone marrows in 7 minutes, all by believing that he did it. It's another scientific study that happened where they did 16 monks and they did 16 bodybuilders. And they said, y'all not gonna go to the gym, the monks. The bodybuilders, you're gonna go to the gym. And they said, you gonna meditate and believe that you're working out and doing sit-ups. You're gonna go and actually do the sit-ups. We're gonna check in with y'all in 3 months and we're gonna check y'all physical appearance. Did you know that the monk six-packs was more formed and defined than the actual bodybuilders? And all they did was sit in Indian style.
You finna kill me tonight. Tonight I'm finna get right. The next 60 days, I'm finna be a monk.
He said the next 60 days.
But hey, but this lets you know how powerful your mind is. Mind shapes and mold and influence matter.
Man, that's why I tell I'm gonna keep it a break, bro. I don't know. God been blessing me. I've been an idiot most of my life.
Yeah.
But I never not believed in shit gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I think that's why shit been okay.
Yeah.
I be like, man, that shit don't happen to a nigga like me.
Yeah.
Nigga, God put me in for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry for the language, fair use. I'm gonna play just a little bit more.
That shit really works, bro.
So what you're talking about is in Hebrew tongue, we call it abracadabra. Abracadabra meaning I create what I speak. In the beginning, God said, and it was.
I thought they said abracadabra was some magic shit.
No, but they call it magic or magi. And all magi means one who manifests and can count the stars, the celestial beings.
Abracadabra.
I create exactly what I speak. I speak it, so it is, so I am. You know what I'm saying? And we don't realize that the power of the tongue, and that's why the scripture tells us life and death is in the power of the tongue. You constantly speaking bad on situations, speaking bad on people, and speaking bad on yourself, you never amount to shit.
Right.
But if you constantly do what you said, man, look, like you said, I'm a good name, this ain't happening to me. And then you look up, even though you've been a knucklehead half your life, how did I even make it through that? Because you never accepted that belief.
Yes.
Man, that's all I was gonna play.
I wanna add too. Just the power in belief and the power in rituals and stuff like that. Since he talked about the placebo effect and stuff like that, right? You got to understand how powerful it is when you take an addict, right? An addict that's been doing whatever drug they've been on, right? And you take it from them. It's a reason why they go through them withdrawals, right? Because they've been so consistent and so ritualistic with what they're doing, right? It holds power, right? Same thing with the ways of life, right? Played basketball my whole life. I mean, every single day I woke up, went to the gym, put some shots up or something, right? The moment I put the basketball down, it did feel kind of weird not going to the gym to play basketball every day. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with this truth, right? You can tell when somebody's really in this truth because when you're doing something consistently, for instance, we just go to we have camp every Saturday, right? And one day something happened where the brother can't go to camp, and he like, man, I don't feel right, bro. I know what they doing, but I'm going out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do something genuinely and ritualistic enough, it holds that much power over your body that you have to do it. And if you don't, you start feeling those withdrawals. So it's a note to yourself. If you're in this truth and you can put it down whenever you want to, and you don't feel no type of way, when you can stop praying for a season, you can stop fasting for a season, you can stop doing lessons for a season, and you don't feel no type of way in your body, bro, no urge to, no tingling, no withdrawals, you might need to check yourself because you've probably been moving lukewarm, right?
Man, brother, making some good points, man. All praise to the Most High. That was a mighty video too, man. That's a mighty video. Life and death is really. I mean, when you read that. Wait, you still sharing your screen out? When you read that, life and death is in the power of the tongue, you don't truly think about how serious and how deep that is until you hear a brother like that break it down and get into it. Oh, that's my fault. And break down how serious how powerful your words really are, man. Because when I used to read that scripture, I used to think, well, yeah, this is true too. Like when I used to read life and death is in the power of the tongue, I'm thinking about like a person like saying something and getting into an argument with a person and he getting killed. Like he chose death because his words that he spoke to that person got him mad. But I really didn't think about like the deeper level of you speaking positive things upon yourself and stuff like that. I remember the brother Aliyah from the Servants. He had played a video. He was like, it was this dude that had some plants, and he was speaking positive to the plants, and the plants was growing. And there was some other plants he was speaking negative to, saying that you're not gonna grow. He was saying something like that, and you ugly, and the plants end up dying because he was speaking negative to them. So we don't really truly think about how powerful the tongue is until you start seeing things like that, and you start seeing or hearing about witches casting spells with their tongues on people and their words and stuff like that. You don't truly think about how deep it is, man. But it's very deep. That's why we should always speak positive amongst each other and upon ourselves. We shouldn't be speaking negative upon other people and upon ourselves. If anybody's speaking negative upon you, you have to rebuke that, man. You have to cast that down because that's a spirit. Somebody telling you dumb, somebody telling you stupid, somebody telling you ugly. You got to cast that down, man, and tell yourself, I'm not ugly, I'm not dumb, I'm smart. You know, that's a spirit, that's a demon. Rebuke that thing, man, because if you don't, you're gonna start believing that you're dumb, you're gonna start believing that you're ugly, you're gonna start believing that you're slow, and but the whole time you're not, but you believe in it, and that's what you think you is.
Same thing in relationships, man. You know what I'm saying? Same thing in relationships. I know a lot of times, man, sometimes people in relationships can overthink situations, right? And before you know, you done overthought the situation too much. And now you're telling yourself that your spouse is this, that, and the third, even though your spouse said this, that, and the third, and they never said it, but that's how you took it. And so you just keep meditating on that. And before you know it, you really believe that your spouse said this, that, and the third, right? And your spouse got to keep telling you, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? But you believe something so much, it's like it becomes true, right? It's not even like it becomes true. It becomes true, right?
It's a lot of power. I just watched Drewski just accept an award. Well, he didn't thank God or nobody. He pretty much thanked himself. And he said he manifested, and he was giving all the other creators. He said, if you want to be this, you can manifest it. So a lot of times you're wondering, how is God blessing these other people, but they're not even godly people? It's because, man, whether God bless you or not, in this carnal life that we live, there is power in the tongue for both sides. And just like they manifest, you can believe in God and get blessings too. They just believing in themselves, right? Another shallow example, right? Nixon 5. Everybody saying Nixon 5. Whole city saying Nixon 5. They chanting it in the streets. Then it come to pass. It's power in the tongue, man. It's power in the tongue. And something small as that can go over your head, but it's all about belief. Humans have the innate ability to create. That's why he said, ye are gods. We are gods to the point that we can literally shape our reality with our thoughts and our words, right? And that's what we get at the end of the day. So imagine if we came together as a nation, the Israelites, right? Imagine we came together as a nation and we all believed the same thing. We all was on the same accord. We can move mountains like the Bible say. We can move governments. We can be who we're supposed to be. But we can't really stand for it.
Man.
I want to add too. Well, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a crazy point too, because people kept saying Knicks in 5, man, even down to the last game where the Spurs was up by 30 in the third quarter, man. Right? I mean, you can't make that up, man. But even for the mindset of the Spurs, it's hard to fight it. You can be as positive you want to be, but when you outnumber like that, and everybody is rooting against you, right? Sometimes, man, that energy overpowers your energy, right? Now, the cheat code is when you in this truth and you serve the Most High God, you can be outnumbered, right? And your belief and your consistency can still override those that outnumber you, right? So that's the cheat code about being in this truth.
That's a cheat code about life too, in general. Because I want to say too, it's one thing to say something, but it's another to say it with conviction, right? A lot of people say stuff, but because they don't have the conviction in their heart, that thing that they may speak may not come to pass, right? But then you got the people who actually say it with belief. You know what I'm saying? And when you say it with that belief behind it, that's when you see the results of what you speak coming to pass, And I wanted to read this precept. I'll read off my phone real quick. This is Proverbs 10 and 13, but I'm going to read it from the NLT. And it says, wise words come from the lips of people with understanding, but those lacking sense will be beaten with the rod. So you could even see, like the brother was quoting, when it comes to power, the life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Even in the same book, you can see how wise words come from people that have understanding. So you gotta know how to like speak positivity over yourself, over your life, over your well-being, not just because it's cool to do so, not just because we say to do it, but because you gotta have the conviction in your mind and in your heart that what you speak will come to pass. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because again, that shows that you're a wise person. Like, that's why I know I quote this song before on live, but one of them songs, man, one of them gospel songs that some people feel X, Y, and Z about gospel music, but I play it, and I be listening to that song where it says, speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. It's a lot of times where we pray for other people, we speak positive over other people, you know what I'm saying? But we don't do it enough for ourselves. Like, sometimes a lot of people need to reevaluate how positively they speak about others and how negatively they speak about themselves, and change the way they speak about themselves. Because again, the words you have, the words you say have power, right? And if you say them, if you're using them to the glory of the Lord, they're wise. But are you? You on mute, Saucy Ho. You on mute.
That's why it's good to read these scriptures, man. When we go out to teach, we read the scriptures out loud. Give me the book of Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. And the brother would say, Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. And we read in the scriptures out loud. So what we are speaking positive out our mouth into the atmosphere, man, with these words of life. So that's a good point.
Hey, while you made that point, don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Nah, you good. Go ahead.
Like we in camp. That's why I like to read out loud, even if it don't seem like nobody in front of us for real. Because you read out loud and them words go into the atmosphere. Then next thing you know, camp just turn around. People start coming.
Yeah.
People start pulling up. You start having good conversations. And when you was screaming it like a crazy man, and everybody probably like, he don't gotta say that loud. Ain't nobody out here. It's power in the words, right? When he say that cry aloud, spare not, right? You speak those things into the atmosphere. It's gonna bring spirits, good and bad.
Yep. That's a fact, man. We see it all the time at camp. You maybe we out there teaching, nobody out there. As soon as the word come out, people start coming out of portals. They just start popping up, poof, poof, poof. Like, where they coming from? The Lord sent them, man. But can the brother read this scripture real quick?
Leviticus 18 and 21. And it says, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord.
So, this when I seen this video, it reminded me of this scripture because back then and even today's time, you have people sacrificing their kids through Molech. I think Molech was like a big old idol with fire in it, and people would do rituals and stuff like that and sacrifice their kid for power, and they'll give their kid to Molech and throw them in the fire. So even in today's time, when you see things like this on a spiritual level, this dude in this video is allowing his kids to get passed through the fire of Molech, because he's teaching them witchcraft, man, and roots that's against the Most High God. So he basically steering his kids in the wrong direction, farther away from the Most High. And it's like how our ancestors were doing. People say, I pray to my ancestors. This is something our ancestors was doing. Are you praying to these ones that was sacrificing their kids, was killing their kids to an idol? Are these ancestors you praying to too? But they were throwing them into the fire, man. So that's what a lot of our people be doing on a spiritual level when they teaching them these rituals, when they teaching them Christmas and Thanksgiving, and not knowing the origin, how these things came about, when they teaching them how to do voodoo and black magic and cast spells. A lot of them are casting their kids through that fire, man.
Can I add one thing too? That's why it's important as parents to be parents and not befriend your children, man. Because a lot of times in this society, and I know brothers touched on it earlier. Well, I don't know if y'all did. I was having some connection issues, but I want to say, that's why when you get to celebrating these holidays and you get to letting your children partake in festivals that was mentioned earlier, like Halloween, and you say, well, I'm doing it for the kids, you allowing your children to be your ruler. You're no longer being their parent. You're allowing what they feel and experience control the way you operate. And that's the problem in our society, is because we allow our children to rule over us. Now, that was a curse in Isaiah, that children would be oppressors. But the thing is, though, is when you come into the knowledge of the Lord, you got to learn how to separate yourself from what the world does. And you got to learn how to separate yourself from the feelings and emotions of the world. Because one thing about it, whatever children don't learn, they're not going to miss out on. A lot of people say, well, I grew up, in a household where I did X, Y, Z. But if you don't raise your children in that manner, they're not going to be sad that they didn't get to experience it, because they're not going to really have the emotional tie-in to understand why it was such a joyful time to them. So as parents, you got to be the parent and rule over your children, and stop giving yourself over to their emotions, because you allow their emotions to make you, to cause them to be sacrificed to some extent, right? You give your children over to these understandings, and that's how the next generation of children think and act the same way we do. But then y'all are crying that, well, our world needs to be better, but y'all don't want to break none of the cycles that the world has put us through. It's an issue.
Con, man. Fast. I got two more and play this one right here. It says, me every time someone decides to play with me. You have people like her really do these things, man. I know people heard that saying about be careful who you eat spaghetti from, because women, I ain't gonna speak too much on it, but I know y'all done heard it before. But people do that. A lot of people do that, man. Also, people doing stuff like this behind the scenes, and people wondering why can I get this woman or this man out my head? Like, why do I want to be with them so bad? Because a lot of them are behind the scenes doing stuff like this.
And they check up on their progress too. You think they're your friend? They checking up on. Hey, so how that situation go?
Yeah.
How you been doing with so and so and so? How that thing that you was because they done did this behind the scene. They trying to see if it worked.
Yeah. And here go another one right here. I actually did a video. This one of the videos I did 7 months ago of this brother right here, John Ramirez. He an ex-Satanist, and he finna speak on a little bit what he used to do.
In America, I was the third person that we had a book in New York, in America. I was the third person to get this book that has symbols of the book, of different demons, of different principalities, a different way of killing people through witchcraft. And this book was no one had a copy of this book. You couldn't have a copy of this book unless the devil signed off on it. And I was the third person that received that book. And I would take symbols from that book and do witchcraft to people and put people in make people lose their mind. I put witchcraft on people, make people get diseases out of nowhere. I put witchcraft on people, make people get leprosy. I put witchcraft on people, make people get cancer. I mean, I did witchcraft to people. I gave people miscarriages. I gave people abortions. I put people in hospital for surgeries that didn't even have to go surgeries. I did witchcraft so people can lose their minds. I put spirits of bipolar, schizophrenia. I put spirits of disease on people. I put suicide spirits on people. I'd be up all night long praying and talking to the devil. When Christians can't even go to church for 1 hour. When Christians can't even pray for 1 hour. The spirit realm.
You understand? Yeah, man. So that man said he doing all of this on the left-hand side with Satan to cast spells on people, to give people diseases, to give people bipolar, to give people suicidal spirits, abortions. He doing all this going hard, but you have people that's claiming they love Christ and can't even pray for or read for an hour. Can't even pray for 3 times a day. Come on, man.
Salaki too. Man, this is why, one, you gotta make sure you know who's around you. I know today, man, we like doing stuff holistic and stuff like that. But a lot of times we go out and we get these doulas and these midwives that we really don't know from a can of paint, right? And a lot of times in holistic practices, you get people that are into witchcrafts. You got to look into people's lifestyle, because you might be getting a doula or a midwife that could never get pregnant. And so her main mission is to put spells on people so that they got terrible pregnancies. You see what I'm saying? So you get these situations where these habitual people keep having miscarriages, keep having abortions and stuff like that, right? You don't know who might be praying for your downfall in your corner. But again, that's point number 2. That's why it's important for you as a believer to be consistent in this faith and what you got to do, because no matter if that's the case, right, there's no enchantment against Jacob if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? But it takes 2 when it comes to stuff like that. For instance, like for babies and stuff like that, the father and the mother got to be living right. You got to be living right. If you're not on one accord, if you're not on living right, you leave yourself open and susceptible to whatever is preying on your downfall. Same thing for just a marriage in general, right? So it gets tricky when you're supposed to be living as one, because when you get married, right, you're supposed to be operating as one. And when you're not operating as one, you leave yourself wide open, right? That's why it's important to stay diligent, because people are preying on your downfall. People that are envious of relationships, people that are envious of how fruitful you are, stuff like that. People are preying on your downfall. So that's why it's important to stay as close as possible and stay on the same track as possible, and not to deviate from that, from emotions and feelings and stuff like that.
And can I add too? This is why, man, as people of God, we gotta, spouses, married couples, like the brother Denal said, he made a mighty point. You got to know who's around. And I know that we want to do practices a lot differently from the world, but you got to make sure, because that reminds me of a documentary called Maternal Instinct, where this girl, she had a friend who was pregnant and she couldn't get pregnant. So she ended up killing a friend, cutting the baby out of her friend's womb, covering herself in the blood to make it seem as if she had a baby. And she took herself, or called the hospital, whatever. She got taken to the hospital. Come to find out, the doctor inspected her and said it doesn't look like she had a baby. So that's something that, along the lines of some people are envious. And that's why I'm going to say this too, along with that, knowing who you have around. But also, if you know your friends, like as a man, if you know your woman has a lot of solid friends around her, like spiritually speaking, you can understand that they may be great friends for her, then don't scoff at their relationship. Same thing, vice versa, women. If you know your husband has a solid group of friends around him in the situation, like in that he hangs out with a lot, don't scoff at their relationships either, because again, our job as spouses is to always, first and foremost, of course, our devotion is to the Most High, but the next thing you should be concerned with is your spouse. Like, is my spouse in a good environment? And if your spouse is in a good environment, whether they be with friends, whether they be with family, then you got to do your best to understand, like, this is a time where maybe you could pray for them and encourage them, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we have to monitor each other in a sense. And if you know your people is around the right people, ain't no need to, you know what I'm saying, say things crazily or or make fun of certain situations that could be worse. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only saying that because I seen a video like that yesterday, where a woman was saying that, you know, sometimes people's marriages and stuff, they start going sour when you got friends that are sharing advice from their specific relationships. But the asterisk that made it stand out was she said those people are praying for the downfall of their relationship. And that's why, again, it is important to know who you're around, know your surroundings, because there are people who pray on your down. There are people who want what's worse for you, not what's best for you. Right. But if you know your spouse, if you know your partner has a great environment around them, you know, don't scoff at that. Respect that, because there are situations that people are in that they don't really know how evil people are being behind closed doors towards them.
God, it can not just be friends, but it could be family. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got brothers and sisters that might be kind of envious of you. You got mothers and fathers and mother-in-laws, all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for you to be girded up, because at the end of the day, it don't matter how somebody else is feeled. If you're in tune with the Most High, bro, you know what I'm saying? There's no enchantment against Jacob. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's so important for you to stay consistent in this truth and consistent in the faith.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what, real quick.
Nah, go ahead. Take your time.
I was gonna say, what also you need to be sure of, right, is how cunning people are. You know, people are so cunning, right? They can knock you off your square and get you to stop being consistent in ways that you wouldn't have thought. They get close to you and they understand your vices, they understand your temptations, right? And you wondering why this person, for example, man, it just look like they're losing a lot of weight. Their face is getting chiseled. They're getting a lot more attractive. Then next thing you know, they done fall in love with themselves and they out of the truth, right? They out of the truth, and now they divorced. They did this, they did that, right? All because of they got more attractive. A gift destroyed the heart. Somebody might get a new job. You don't know these witches. Sometimes these witches, right? They understand that if your temptation is money, lust of money, they give you that new job. They pray for not your downfall, but they pray for your upgrade, because they know it's going to lead to your downfall, right? They know that they know that you fall short to temptation when it comes to lust and sexual desires. They could pray that you become a ladies' man, or they could pray that you get a lot of attention on TikTok or IG as a woman. And next thing you know, you done cheated on your spouse. They would pray for things that you would think is an upgrade sometimes, just to be a stumbling block to you, so you can stop being consistent. That way you can be attacked. So you gotta watch out for that stuff.
Matter of fact, I just thought about something that was said in this video. Let me see if I can find it.
All night long. Of disease on people. I put suicide spirits on people. I be up all night of disease on bipolar surgeries. I did witchcraft so people can lose their minds. I put spirits of bipolar, schizophrenia. I put spirits of disease on people.
So I pull that because people be like, bro. But as a lot of times, I ain't gonna say a lot of times, but some people glorify being bipolar, right? I'm bipolar. I'm a hothead. I don't know. I just be so stressed out. Like my anxiety. But that witch just said that he cast these type of spirits on people. You gotta think, these are the spirits. Some of these spirits were the spirits that Christ was casting out of people. They weren't going to no hospitals and the hospital giving them medicine. Christ was going and casting these type spirits out. So that's just, I'm saying that to say, you know, a lot of times a lot of witches done cast these spirits on people to the point where they bipolar. They hearing voices in their head, loud voices in their head, man. And when you keep watching that testimony, he said that he used to go in hospitals. He used to walk in hospitals and cast spells on people. He don't even know. Cast spells that woman that have an abortion. Cast spells that person don't come out the hospital. So you have witches going to hospitals that you probably don't even know a witch in the hospital, walking around the hospital with their hands behind their back, acting like they thinking and looking around. Whole time they casting a spell in their head, man. So that's why Ephesians 6 is so important. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse, I think 10 through 12, right? That we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, man.
Hey, you be in the hospital, and for those that have been in hospitals, you've witnessed this. Somebody come into your room on accident. Oh, sorry, I somebody else's room. No, they didn't. They can read numbers, but what's happening is you got random people, man. That's their assignment, man. Their assignment is to go into them places and do that. And that's the dangerous part of witchcraft, because it could be a complete stranger, right? You don't even know to defend yourself from a complete stranger, bro. It could be a complete stranger attacking you. And that's the danger. We all got our antennas up for fake friends and fake family and all that. But a complete stranger that you only see for 5 seconds, your guard is down.
Right. And you know what's crazy? What's crazy is you'll even have people in the hospitals that come knock on your door. Hey, I'm so and so and so and so. Would you mind if we help pray for your loved one in the bed real quick?
Hell no.
What's going on with them, so we can, and then they'll say a little fake prayer over, and you don't know this person from a can of paint.
Right.
But just like, and we talk about this, I know there are two brothers on the screen right now haven't seen the movie Sinners, but just like in Sinners, man, and it's true. You open the door for somebody knocking on the door. Hey, can I pray for so-and-so? They're asking you that question because they cannot come in without your say-so. The moment you agree to welcome them into your space, to welcome them into your life, now they can affect you, right? Now you got them touching your loved one, praying whatever over your loved one and all that stuff. And what it is spiritually, it's like this. And the brother Obadiah, we laughed about this a couple weeks ago, but on Johnson Family Vacation, man, when they asked that stranger to pray over the food, right? And she started saying, at first it was like, man, it was normal. And then out of nowhere, dear whatever of the underworld, cover us. And she, her eyes start rolling back to her head. But that's what it is spiritually when you start letting just anybody pray over you. Does anybody have contact to your life and touch you and all this stuff? That's what happens, man. That's why you got to vet certain people, man. That's why you also, again, got to stay in your word, and you got to be living this truth genuinely, bro, not lukewarm.
Yeah. And it made me think, because I had seen a post not too long ago that said that Black women have a high level of miscarriages in hospitals when they go to hospitals. And it made me think, like, what's going on? Like, are they doing something type of witchcraft in there, man? Why is it so high when it comes to miscarriages when it comes to Black women? And then you gotta think too, when you having surgery and they may have to put you to sleep, you got all these doctors in these with these white coats on just looking over you. It's like you don't know what the hell they saying, you don't know what they could be doing. They just working on you while you sleep, man. They ain't got none of your family members in there watching over you while they in there. You just gotta trust them that they ain't gonna do no type of magic or nothing on you. Then you wake up from your surgery, like, now they done put a new heart in you or something. Now you a whole other person. Now you like the movie Get Out. You got a white man inside your body. You know what I'm saying? So crazy. But can the brother read this?
Exodus 22:18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Right. So the Bible said you're not supposed to suffer a witch to live, period. You see, the Most High, he put a period at the end. It's that simple. He ain't add no more. Nobody can get confused the way he said, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So back in the ancient world, or back in the ancient times when this was written, you had a lot of our people was stoning people. If you were caught doing, listen, and this how serious this is. This man would have got him and his kids stoned. Like them little dude and her with the pajamas on, they would have got stoned because of him. Just say if somebody, a priest or somebody, or a brother or sister walked in on them doing that, and they went back and told, damn, they're doing witchcraft. And they walk in, they got all this on the floor. They getting stoned on spot. If you was caught doing voodoo, if you caught doing what she doing, right, they bust into your house and you doing this with a spell book, with candles, she would have got stoned.
You got to, because if not, even if they kids, if you don't do it, Like you say, you have mercy on them kids. When they get older, they're gonna remember the stuff they're doing as kids. And now it's gonna creep back in their head, like, I remember I could do this. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm gonna do this. My parents taught me this. This is why you gotta get rid of everybody.
Like the brother Isaiah was saying, man, when you let kids start to be involved in these stuff, Halloween, holidays, whatever, birthdays, all that stuff, what it is you letting them be susceptible to rituals earlier on. And if you know anything about kids, they are super impressionable at a young age, right? It only takes 1 or 2 times to do something or say something in front of them, right? And it becomes a want and need after that. You know what I'm saying? You let them celebrate Halloween one time, well, it's gonna be like pulling teeth trying to get them to stop talking about celebrating the next year, right? So that's why it's early on. You got, like Brother Isaiah said, you got to cut all that stuff, just doing it for the kids and all that stuff, because when they're super young, they're super impressionable, and that stuff sticks with them. Like Brother Azrael was just saying, it sticks with them when they get older and they can practice on their own and all that stuff. They're gonna be doing it not only because of their belief, but they're going to be doing it because they love their mother and their father that did it as well. And it's going to be like a tribute to them, right? Because a lot of times our people like to put our family over the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that be our crutch a lot of the times, right? Brother Obadiah was talking about praying to our ancestors. That's, again, putting our family over the Most High, right?
Right. And you got to think too, it also comes with the notion of, bruh, a lot of people who know the truth and choose not to follow it just for the sake of the kids, you're literally lying to your children for your own sake, really, because you care more about yourself than you do about the Most High. And that's why Luke 14:26 says we got to be ready to hate ourselves. We got to be ready to hate our mothers, fathers, our children, our friends, family, whatever, for the name of the Lord. Because at the end of the day, like Denal was just saying, you give yourself over to them spirits, sometimes it ain't no coming back from it.
Yeah, lying to your kids about Santa Claus. Like, you know Santa Claus not real.
That be the main thing that made me mad. They know Santa Claus ain't real. They'll tell you, oh yeah, I know he ain't real. Then why are you doing it? Well, I'm doing it for the kids, man. You know, I want to give my kids a good, like, bro, why are you lying to your children? So it's okay to lie. Now it's okay to lie to your kids in the name of you want them to have fun, right? But you call yourself a Christian. That doesn't make sense.
And then they'll turn around and tell their kids, don't you lie to me. Tell me the truth. It ain't no lying in this house. Soon as Christmas come, they got Santa Claus written all on the gifts from Santa. That's madness, man. Then the kids got to learn from other people at the school that Santa Claus ain't real. Then they gonna be looking at you like, why you been lying to me? Like, even in the cartoons be lying. These Christmas movies be lying. This whole world is based off lies, man. Literally, America is based off lies. But can the brother read this scripture?
Say that like Bernie Mac.
Say what?
America?
America.
This is Micah 5:12, man. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Mm-hmm. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands, and I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee. So will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
Right. So don't think just because you're doing witchcraft, like I said, you're doing black magic, doing voodoo, you're doing them tarot deck cards, you're a soothsayer, you got the crystal ball, you're seeing people future, you're telling them what's gonna happen before it happens, you're reading people palms. Don't think just because nothing ain't happened to you yet that it's okay. Remember, you were supposed to get stoned back in the ancient world. But now we got some mercy and grace right now. You got a chance to repent from this. You got a chance. Now you know that it's wrong. You have an opportunity to repent from this and join the winning team. Join the winning team. You're on the losing team right now. It may feel like you're on the winning team. I mean, you don't even got as much power as you think you got. You can't even cast the spells on everybody. So your power is limited. You only can cast the spells and the witchcraft and do it on people that ain't got a routine. But you can't do it to everybody. So that shows you that your power is limited. But our God got all the power, man. You know. But yeah, the Lord gonna cut off all the witches, man. So if you caught doing witchcraft, if you caught celebrating or having graven images, bowing down to graven images, having all the candles lit, and you're on your knees with a whatever was a hexagon, whatever that was on the ground with the salt, pouring the salt, you know, all of that stuff, man. You gonna get put to
Making
death.
a mess on the floor, man.
Making a mess on the floor.
Right, they're gonna have to pay the security deposit back, but they ain't getting their security deposit.
Right, you out there, you wasting salt. You just pouring salt on the, you know, salt ain't cheap, bro.
Right, bro.
Things going up.
And I forgot what I was gonna say. Salakia.
That madness, bro. That boy got that old man brain. But I was gonna say, add too, man. That's why, when it comes to serving the Lord, man, it all just goes back to, you know what I'm saying, being vigilant. That's why 1 Peter 5:7-8 tells us, that we got to be sober, right? And we got to watch, because Satan is going around like a warring lion, trying to seek whom he may devour. And if you allow yourself to be fooled by the tricks of Satan, then you're going to be somebody that's going to fall into his snare every time. Because I just said this yesterday. A lot of people think it take a lot for you to fall short. It can take the simplest distraction. You know what I'm saying? The simplest distraction can cause you to go into all manner of mischief and folly. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be vigilant to guard yourself, not only yourself, but if you got children, do it for your children. If you don't have children, but you aspire to have children, you need to watch over yourself and your family and your possessions as if you did have children, because you don't learn how to protect children once you got them. That got to kind of be in you from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? You got to always think like, man, what if I wasn't by myself? What if I had a child with me? You know, you can't have that type of lack of prudence and just chalk it up to, when I'm by myself, I can afford to. You can never afford to.
Yeah, I came back to you what I was going to say. That last precept where it said all witches are going to be cut off, right? It's going to happen because there are an influx of witches being born every day, all because it's temporary pleasure. Like, like they saying in the comments section, because judgment isn't executed speedily, as it says in Ecclesiastes 8:11, right? A lot of times when you ask these young people why they are doing what they are doing, they'll tell us, they've told us on the street corners plenty of times, ever since I've been going to my Baba, my Alibaba, whatever it's called, ever since I've been going to him, life been great. Shit, I was on a murder case. I got no felonies. I was broke. Now I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I got everything I need. And that's why they're doing it, man. It's because they're seeing instant gratification and instant beneficial success in their life. But you got to tell them, and you got to warn them, hey, you're going to be cut off eventually, bro. Sis, you're going to be cut off eventually. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be an easy cut off either.
Yeah. And it even if, because people may be looking at this and saying, well, I'm not using it for bad. I'm using my voodoo to help me. I'm using voodoo or black magic to give me peace. I'm not doing it on people, but still it's the same thing. Why? Because it's like a form of idolatry. Because why you just want to go to the Lord? You putting your trust in magic. You putting your trust in, that's the whole point. You putting your trust in everything else but the Lord. Because you feel like the Lord ain't gonna answer me quick enough. Right? It's taking too long. I need an answer right now. I need this money right now. I don't want to wait, because with the Lord, you may have to wait. And a lot of people don't want to wait, so they're doing these other things, and that's what's going to be your downfall, because you're putting these things above the Lord. Just like that movie, what the movie with the genie on it, the blue genie, Aladdin. That I used to thought that was a cool movie. You got 3 wishes, 3 things. Tell me 3 things you want. I'm like, dang, that looks so cool, man. But the whole time it's madness. Like the brother Azrael said, a lot of these witches are gonna have to get cut off, because a witch is born every day. A lot of like I seen that documentary. A man said a lot of women have kids purposely just to give their kid to Satan. Like, this is your son. I'm gonna have this baby for you. That what happens a lot. It happens a lot in Hollywood. With these celebrities, they do that too. They give their child to Satan.
If we do that for the Most High, you got people like Hannah doing it for the Most High and stuff.
Right.
You know they doing it on the left hand side too, man.
They is.
And they pop out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having a Samuel walking around on the earth, now you got an NBA young boy, right? You got a Lil Uzi walking around. You know what I'm saying? Wreaking havoc.
Yep. That's facts, man. Facts. Whole lot of them walking around. YNs. The YN culture. But can the brother read this?
Acts 16:16. And it came to pass, as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. The same followed Paul and us, and cried, saying, These men are the servants of the Most High God, which show unto us the way of salvation. And this did she many days. But Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the spirit, I command thee in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her. And he came out the same hour.
Right, man. So that just shows that these spirits know who the true men of the Most High is. These spirits, this woman had the spirit of soothsaying, right? And she understood, though, that these are the servants of the Most High God. These are the chosen people. These are the ones that's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they wasn't able to affect Paul and them. Paul turned around and cast that demon out of her. So that also just shows that's a spirit on when you're doing divination, soothsaying, when you into other spiritual things. You're at what they call it, astral projecting. You're leaving your body. Your body's still in the room, but your spirit done went to spirit realm or whatever. You're gone. You're sitting here, but you're gone. But yeah, man, that's a spirit though. That's a spirit that Paul cast out of this lady, man. She was a woman that was doing type of spells and things, and she was knowing the future and stuff, knowing what's gonna happen to somebody, knowing, people she probably was making money off that. People do it now. People go in these people buildings and they pay them money for them to read their palms, or for you to then to tell them what's gonna happen to happen to so and so in the future, and they'll tell them.
I saw a video, man, of this guy, this white guy, man. He was saying how psychics are a bunch of baloney. He was like, just think about it, man. A lot of times you see the psychics, man, they got their little setup with a little tent, man. You know what I'm saying? They look like homeless beggars, right? And you can tell they're really only doing it for money. But if you're so psychic, how come all the psychics I know broke? He said, if you're so psychic, you should be able to look into the future to see what the lottery number's gonna be and hit the lottery or something. You know what I'm saying? If you really psychic. Right. And I'm like, man, I ain't gonna lie, but he pulled up a smooth little argument there, bro. Because you can see the future, bro.
Hey, bro,
lottery.
Hey, bro, that goes right back into that placebo effect that Yaki Awaken was talking about. These psychics make you believe something, and now that you believe it, it changes your whole psychological outlook on your life, man, and it alters your genetics. So if they tell you, yeah, you're gonna die in 3 minutes, now you start to believe it. You could literally send yourself into like cardiac arrest just by thinking it, because you didn't have like a panic attack, stuff like that. The same thing with everything else that these psychics do. They make you believe something, and because you believe it, now you change your outlook on life. But that's exactly why, like the brother Denal said, that Buddy said, hey, bro, if you that good at your job, you should be sitting up here giving us lottery numbers. You should be telling us how we can make $1 million in the next couple of months to help our people get out these conditions. Or you should be telling us what prescription drugs we should take and mix together, and this person will be healed in X amount of time. Like, they don't do that, though.
Yeah,
it's for the Baba, what Azrael was saying, right? A lot of times people will be living good when they first meet their Baba, because their Baba is only their Baba only telling them sweet things, man, soothsaying things. But the moment you go to your Baba and he tell you something that's terrible, it's probably gonna happen, because you don't put so much trust in your Baba, because he done said to you soothsaying things so much that you have trust in him now. The moment when he says one thing bad, it has to be true. and you believe it, just like the brother Isaiah was saying.
And that's how they get you to do things for them. Like, it'd be like, unless you kill 2 people at the end of this week, this is gonna happen to you. They got you carrying out something that they wanted to happen, right? Because they gotta fulfill sacrifices, and now you're gonna do it because, dang, this is the first time he ever said I was gonna die. It gotta be true because everything else came to pass.
Right. He talked about something. If you want to save your life, I need you to bring back 2 large pepperoni pizzas and a Diet Coke. It has to be diet.
It gotta be diet. Hey, like as Rayo was saying too, bro, you gotta think you be doing that stuff, and it's the same thing on the small scale. Like, people think sorcery is just some magic, some big dark, secret type of stuff. You see it on your average social media post on Facebook, where it's a post that say, share this image of Jesus or you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Tonight. Share your love for God. Share this post that says I love God or you'll be cursed.
Something bad's gonna happen this week.
Right, bro.
Yeah, but like the sister said in the comment section, you'll hear people say, man, you can wait on God if you want to. I'm gonna make this happen right now. Like, you can be on God time if you want to, but that's all it comes down to is they want everything right now. They want instant gram. They want it instantly, right? Instantly 30. They want all of that, bro. They don't want to put the work in for the Lord, right? But also from the last precept that we just read, that reminds me of a good brother Naquan. You watched Naquan back in the day. He keen for that. He be talking to a random person. What's your name, demon? Come out, demon. Come out. What's your name? Tell us your name. Come on, come. And he known for that. But you got to understand that we live in such a docile state that people don't do that. So these witches, warlocks, whatever you call it, they used to moving around freely. Like the brother Denal said, they used to coming in and trying to pray for you and you don't give no pushback. They used to that. So the moment you have somebody that say, hey, come out, like Paul did, or what's your name, or they start speaking to the spirit, the moment they do that, hey, man, they start acting up. They, when we at camp and we start pulling out people's idols and people's sins, they start acting up. When you stop treating them like the person that you see before you, and you don't care about their age, you don't care about their gender, you just start talking about their sin, you just start attacking their sin out of love, they start acting up, right? Because everything is spiritual.
Hey, I remember the first time that somebody offered to pray for me, but I knew for a fact they did not serve the God that I served. And when they did it, I was sitting in a barbershop. Now I'm like 18 at this time, finna turn 18. And she cut hair. She'd been cool, but she was I can't remember if she was Muslim or she was some type of African spiritualist. But fast forwarding, she offered to pray for me. She said, well, I can pray for you, X, Y, Z. And I literally said verbatim, I said, which God are you praying to? And she said Allah. She said, I'm praying to Allah. And I said, nah, I'm good. If you're not praying to, back then that was in my ignorance. But I said, if you're not praying to Jesus, I'm straight. And I felt kind of bad on the inside about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, dang, man. And I said that in front of like everybody that was in the shop. So she kind of felt some type of way, and I kind of felt bad internally. But now, now I'm a little bit older, you shouldn't feel bad for saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't feel bad for telling everybody, nah, you good. You don't accept all people's forms of prayer. You see what I'm saying? That's why you shouldn't accept all different types of money. People like, for instance, when people say, I got rich and I gave my mama X amount of $1 million. Sometimes you see in movies where parents don't accept that money because they know what's associated with that money. They know what you had to do to get that money, and they don't want any type of thing associated with them that was gotten by deceit, that you had to get through bloodshed or murder or sorcery, witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to kind of like set those boundaries early and not wanting to be accepted by everybody that, follows different religions.
You gotta be bold in this truth, man. That's a mighty point, man. You can't be too concerned about strangers' feelings, man. Somebody that you never gonna see again. A lot of times, that's what we gotta do on the street corner. You get brothers on the screen, though, right? We sometimes we tell folks straight up, nah, we ain't going with that. Nah, we ain't listening to that. Nah, keep it moving, right? And then they'll give you a little sad face, or they might even give you a angry face, right? And they have some choice words for you, but at the end of the day, you protecting your peace. You know what I'm saying? and you got to do that.
That's how it be when you out there teaching, and you may get into a discussion with like a Christian, and they getting cut up, and they soon as they finna leave, let me pray for you. Let us all pray.
Right.
Like, no, bro, you don't know the word. We just proved that you didn't know the word. Why would we want you to pray over us that you ain't even living by the word? Like, it's crazy.
And it's just to stroke their ego, man. They couldn't win the battle, so they feel like if they get the last say so by making everybody pray, they were the bigger person or they were the more spiritual person. That's all that is, man. But you know, like the brothers are saying on the stream, man, you gotta be bold like Paul, because Paul got his boldness from reading about his ancestors, his forefathers, Elijah and Ezekiel and all of them, right? And Deborah and all these judges, right? You gotta be just like our ancestors, man. And they didn't tolerate craziness.
Hey, Azrael is that brother that if you on the street corners, bro, and somebody come up with something crazy, he the type to slap your hand down if they try to hand you something. We was at camp one night, and this brother, some lady was trying to hand us something. Now, granted, I already know to refuse it, but before I could even tell her no, she stuck her hand out, and the brother slaps. I started reaching to tell her, "No, I'm good." The brother slaps my hand down, and the lady was looking like, "Dang, what the heck is that?" And I was just telling her, like, we was like, "Nah, we don't accept that." You know what I'm saying? That paraphernalia that you got, it's all good. Fast forward, she walks off after trying to give it to us. And I said, "Dang, bro, I was gonna tell her, nah, we good." He was like, "Oh, well, I ain't know what you finna do, bro. I ain't want."
Man, but again, though, man, you know, it comes from like the movie Sinners, man. Any little thing like that, they can get you to spiritually agree with them, man, is a way for them to affect your life, right? And I know a lot of people see us on a street corner and they want to do just that, is affect our lives because they see how dedicated we are to what we're doing. And I know the brother Obadiah was going to get into that story at the end.
Con, you know what story I'm finna get into?
Yeah, I know what story he's finna get into.
All right. Galatians chapter 5 and 19 through 20. I don't know who next.
Oh, it's on me, I think. Galatians 5 and 19, it says, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God."
So the Bible, I brought this out to say, if you were a witch, and you might not call it witchcraft, but if you're doing any form of witchcraft or anything that's against God, you're not going to inherit the kingdom of God. You're not going to make it in, man. That means you're going to die. So we must repent from any of these things that we may be doing in Galatians 5 and 19 through 21, because these are the things of the flesh, not the spirit, things of the spirit, but the things of the flesh, man. So, Khan, how exactly did the story go though?
You talking about
the lady girl walked by?
The day at camp, man. It was a day at camp. I think it was if I'm not mistaken, it was the night before Halloween, or was it Halloween night?
I think it was around that time.
You're right.
I think it was the weekend of Halloween. I think
it was the day. It was the day after Halloween. That's what it was. So Halloween was on Friday, and the day after was that Saturday. But people were still celebrating and whatnot. And so we was downtown and we was teaching, man, and a bunch of madness was going on that night. We seen a lot of weirdos downtown, right? And then we seen this lady walk by, right? And the crazy part was it was kind of freezing cold outside. You know what I'm saying? I think it might have been like maybe 57, 55 degrees, 57 degrees, something like that. And the girl that we seen walk by, she had like on a mini skirt, some of them knee-high boots, right? And a t-shirt, right? And She walked by. I think she was wearing all black as well. And when she gets to us, right? I don't know if she didn't say anything to us, I don't think, right? Well, she might have, I think so. And I think we briefly talked to her, and then she kind of just stopped talking and kind of started mumbling a little bit. Then she started like inching towards us. As she started inching, you said what?
She ain't say nothing initially. She came around the corner. Me and Baruch saw her because we was standing on that side of the camp. We saw her coming around the corner. She was walking fine normally. And then when she turned the corner, she started kind of walking like a drug addict.
Like Michael Jackson in Thriller.
Yeah, she started kind of, acting like a drug addict. So then, Baruch was like, man, she on them drugs, man. I know what that looked like. She on them drugs. And I was like, because I'm looking at her with the gothic boots and all black. I'm like, nah, Macon has a lot of witches. So I was like, nah, man, I think she on some witchcraft stuff. And then as soon as I said that, she stuck her hand out and started mumbling something. And it's like she was trying to hold on to our signs or get us to hold her.
Touch something that belonged to us or something. Yeah,
she was trying, and before a random person may look at that and see her falling and may want to try to pick her up
or help her up.
I was just like, hey, don't nobody go near that lady, bro.
Because one thing you gotta understand, she was falling in slow motion, right? Y'all gotta understand, she was falling in slow motion as if like she was almost melting, right?
Like she was stuck, like
she was in sinking sand, like, you know what I'm saying? And so she was going down slowly. As she was going down slowly, she was reaching to like touch our signs and us, right? And immediately, we're like, man, grab the sign, let's move over to the side. And then so she finally makes it all the way on the ground, right? And it literally looks like her body is melting and she's trying to get up with all her might, right? And she's down there on the ground. And she's still kind of trying to inch towards our signs and stuff, right?
And check this out. And then here come a man that's pretending to not know her, right? But they were walking together. He didn't see that we saw that they was walking together earlier that day. He said, man, what's going on with her, right? He going up to her and trying to talk.
Had a shaved head.
Right, trying to, trying to see what's going on. And we telling them what's going on, and I'm letting them know. I'm like, I let them know straight up. I said, I think she a witch. I said, I think she a witch, bro. I said, we out here preaching the Bible, man. She tried to catch a spell on us or something, man. She a witch. He said, what? He tried. I seen her coming out of that bar. She was kind of drunk. I said, nah, she was walking around that corner perfectly fine, bro, until she came over here. She wasn't drunk. Drunk. And he was like, I don't know. Then another dude came and he was trying to peep out the scene.
Brother Isaiah, was our brother Isaiah the one that called the cops?
Yeah, I'm the one that flagged them over.
Yeah, because
I thought we called 911 though.
Nah, remember I was about to call 911, but no, I did call 911.
Yeah, you called 911.
I showed up
because so the police pull up, right? And they get out with their flashlight. She's still on the ground and whatnot. And out of nowhere, she's laid out flat on the ground. As soon as they get out with the flashlight, this is what she do. From laying down, she go,
bro. She sat up like the Undertaker. She sat up like
regular, bro.
Hey, what did that man? What did the police officer say that her charges were?
She was
in a different state.
She was wanted for
She had a warrant out of Texas for something.
I forgot what the charges were, bro.
I remember it was in Texas though, but I forgot what the charges were. But I remember him saying she has a warrant out of Texas. But the thing is, bro, we called the police. We didn't want to touch her.
Look though, the crazy part about it, I think what got her, because when they walked up, she was still tripping.
Yeah, she was still.
They said something and flashed that light. Then it's like she woke up like she was in a trance, bro.
She got right, bro, because she already knew what time it was.
That's why I said though, because when we said we were gonna call the cops, that bald head dude and that other dude that came across the street, they was kind of like, what's going on? And they was really trying to get her up out of there. And whatever they was doing, they was trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Because they're probably all in the system for doing witchcraft for real. Because I remember when we heard her charges, we was like, man, that's kind of weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? What she got charged for, we can't remember what it was. But at the same time, when the cops were trying to talk to her, the dude that was pretending not to be with her, another dude come down the street. The bald guy come down the street. He dressed straight up like a warlock, right? And he come and he touched the girl. He said, "You all right?" And then he just walk away. And then after that, she get up like everything fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And she just, and then keep in mind, the police go away. She's standing up at this point, but she's still there. She's still there after everybody leaves, right? And then so out of nowhere, right, after Azrael was kind of taunting her, all praises, you know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, she kind of girds herself up and she tries to walk right back in front of us again, and she starts to go crippled again. So she goes the opposite way. And you know what she has to do? She literally has to cross the street. She literally has to cross the street in order to walk past us. And how do we know this? Because she crosses the street, and once she got past us, she came right back over to the side to go back to where she was going. But she couldn't walk in front of us. Why? Just like the first video that brother Obadiah had posted, right? When they're faced with people that are actually living this thing, right? That power, it cripples them. That's why they don't want to even deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that whatever we serving is more powerful than them. And the way you can catch up some of these witches is that some of these young witches, bro, they feel like that they're still more powerful than you, right? But that witch that day, oh, she understands now. And I'm pretty sure the warlock that came by and touched her and gave her the power to get up, I'm pretty sure he probably warned her, like, bro, don't mess with them, bro. They actually do this for real. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's why it's important to stay in the spirit, to not be lukewarm, because it's really not us, but it was the angels that the Most High sent around us. You know what I'm saying? Again, like the passage in the New Testament, right? John, I know. Jesus, I know. But who are you? Right? When it gets down to it, then when them demons know you, or they flee. You know what I'm saying? When demons know you, bro, they melt. This girl was literally, you know how in the cartoons when the witches be like, "I'm melting."
Yeah.
That's literally what she was doing before our eyes.
For real though.
I don't know why in cartoons they make witches be melting all the time, but that's literally what she was doing right before our eyes, man.
And she looked at, I remember when she was having that, I remember when she was doing all that, and she was on the ground, she looked at so old, bro. Like she looked at so old, but when she got up and walked away, she looked at like she didn't look as old as she did when she was
right.
She was like this.
Distorted, bro. Her face was distorted when she got up. When she was on the ground, man, she looked every bit of 65. When she got up, she looked like she was about 25.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So she had the black. I think she had black nails and black boots.
Yeah, with a black mini skirt on and a black t-shirt, right? And keep in mind, it was freezing that night.
It was freezing, bro. It was freezing. That's another thing too. It was cold out there, man.
Right. And you know what else she had to do to walk past us? Not only did she have to cross the street, but y'all remember she had some headphones around her neck. She had to put her headphones on to walk past us, bro.
She had the headphones on. She walked like nothing. She was walking like nothing ain't happened, bro.
And just so y'all know, she didn't look like no normal woman. Like she looked gothic. She looked like a witch. Because like the brother Isaiah was saying, when that police officer got out the car, the man put gloves on and he was not trying to touch her, bro. Right. He was not trying to. We was like, bro, arrest her. She got a warrant for her arrest. Arrest her, dude.
They left her, bro.
Yeah.
They left, bro.
No parts, bro.
He was like, what you doing? Were you just going to leave her here with us? What's going on?
He left her there with us. It was two of them, right? They left her there with us and left. And then come back. And she's still there, bro. I'm like, yeah. But yeah.
But that was a crazy encounter, man. And we encounter stuff like that all the time when we go out. And it just to help us and to anchor us in our faith to know that what we're doing is the right thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We encounter spirits all the time, from the greatest to the least, right? And we know that what we're doing is the right thing because all of them I can firmly say all the spirits that we encounter, they understand and know who we are. I'm not talking about the Israelites or whatever. I'm talking about as what we're in this thing for, how sincere we are. Every time we meet somebody, they always say there's something different about us. right? And it's just because of how we're anchored and that we're actually out there in sincerity. We're not out there for money. We're not out there for clout. We're not out there for no other reason but to help our people and to serve our God. And everybody can witness that, right?
Hey, these evil people, man, they smart too, man. They understand God's commandments. You know what I'm saying? And they know loopholes. Why you think there's witches out there on Saturday? They understand that's supposed to be the Sabbath day, and now all these Christians are contradicting their belief. And while we were protected, you got to think about how many Christians are out there on Saturday night enjoying the bars and clubs, not even knowing that people's walking by, touching people, and putting curses on people. They think that they covered by God, but nah, you're not consistent, man, and you're not covered by God. You easily easily acceptable, right? Because your guard is down, and you want to break God's commandments, which is being out on the Sabbath day,
right? And now every time we see somebody that even look like a witch or a warlock, and they walk by us, but they don't make no eye contact with us or nothing, bro. I'm talking about they straightforward, just walking by, stiff neck like our people. But I want to say this too, man. That's why it's so important to do the little things, man. Like for instance, there's power in creatures of habit. Sheep are supposed to be creatures of habit. Horses are supposed to be creatures of habit. Dogs are supposed to be creatures of habit. And why is it so powerful to have a creature of habit? Because they become powerful when they are used to the same habits, right? When you can expect them to do certain things, right? And not to deviate from it. There's power in that. The Most High refers to us as sheep because we're supposed to be moving as one, as creatures of habit that are addicted to doing the law, statutes, and commandments and not knowing how to live life without the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Be little stuff like this, right? Putting on your fringes every day. People don't realize when people stop wearing their fringes, they start going back into the world. Why is that? Because that's a ritualistic thing on the right-hand side that you're doing every morning before you go out, is putting on them fringes, right? And the moment you stop doing that, right, is a gateway for other things to enter into your life. You think it's just about threads and ribbons and all that stuff. No, it's not about that. It's about consistency, diligency, and obedience, right? When you're obedient with the and consistent with the commandments of God, right, and you keep doing it over and over and over, it's literally a protection. It's literally a hedge over your life. The moment you stop doing that, you take that hedge away and you're susceptible to demons.
Con, man. Well said, man. Well said. But that's it, man, for the Sabbath lesson. I hope it was edifying the brothers and sisters. Witchcraft, black magic, and voodoo is against the Most High God, man. You must repent if you're doing these things. But if you don't repent, just know that lake of fire is awaiting you, man. And it's very serious. So repent and come back to the Most High God and put away all those fleshly things, man. But yeah, man, we your brothers from the hopeful elect. And until next time, we say shalom.
Shalom.